Welcome to this tutorial about describing patterns in geography. Often in a GCSE exam there will be a question, describe the pattern of something in a map, or describe the distribution of something in a map. So let's start with types of patterns. Let's start with concentrated or nucleated. This is where something congregates into the centre of something to create a nucleus. A clustered pattern is when aspects of something join together into groups or clusters, and peripheral is when a pattern goes around the edge of something, probably a landmass, perhaps an island, and the peripheral pattern is around the coast. Linear is where a pattern is in a line, and you can see the word line in linear. Dispersed is where something is spread out, no particular pattern there. Dense is when there is a lot of something in one area, and sparse is when there is not a lot of something in one area. So those are the types. Now let's look at some examples. So starting with linear patterns, looking at this map of Hockcliffe, if we take a look at the pattern that the settlement makes and draw a line around most of the settlement, we can see a linear pattern. Similarly, this town of Abbots Bromley is focused along the main road there, a linear pattern, and this aerial photograph of a settlement focused around the road there, another linear pattern. The classic linear pattern on a tectonic question is this sort of pattern, west coast of South America, linear pattern of volcanoes. This is a classic example of a nucleated village. It's concentrated, and if we were to draw a line around this village, we can see it's almost circular, a nucleus. Now let's look at sparse patterns and dense patterns. This photograph here, a sparse pattern in the hills somewhere, you can see that the settlements are very much spread out, and there are not many of them. That is sparse. In contrast, a dense pattern, let's have a look at this map of the population density of England and Wales, 1891. Let's have a look to see first of all the sparse patterns. Well, here population density is very low in Wales, and the dense patterns, lots of people in one particular area. You can see the conurbation here of London, and then the northwest of Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, those areas there, South Wales, and the northeast, resembling where at the time heavy manufacturing was. This map on the right showing malignant melanoma in England and Wales. You can see there is a sparse pattern in East Kent here, but a much greater dense pattern in Devon and Cornwall here. In an exam it's very easy to focus on the dense patterns, but it's always worth a mark or two to show where the pattern is sparse. So now let's take a look at peripheral patterns. So this is around the edge. The map here of population density in India, if we were to draw a line to show where the pattern of population is distributed, roughly here it shows a peripheral pattern around the edge of India. Similarly, proportion of people aged over 65 in the UK in 2001, we can see the pattern is quite coastal except for mid Wales there, and then we go up to the northwest, so around the edge, a peripheral pattern. And then of course the classic one on the tectonics topic, you can see a peripheral pattern of volcanoes around the edge of the Pacific, the Ring of Fire. It resembles a peripheral pattern. This is a map of the national parks of England and Wales, and you can see very clearly a dispersed pattern. They are reasonably spread out. And finally, let's look at clustered patterns. Let's start with the map on the left, which has a lot of information, but let's focus solely on the blue dots, which show reservoirs. We can see clusters of reservoirs here and here and here. So many of the reservoirs in England and Wales are clustered. Now let's have a look at the map on the right, which shows the number of tweets tweeted on a particular day in June 2015, and we can see clustering around London and Cardiff and Brighton, Liverpool and Manchester in the north. So remember, when you are asked a question about describing a pattern, it is not enough just to simply state places on a map and how much of something they have. Try to use pattern words: clustered, dispersed, sparse, nucleated, dense, and so on, for maximum marks.